Today we start our chapter 1 in Workplace and Apprenticeship Math 10, Unit Pricing and Currency Exchange. Our first section that we are dealing with today is proportional reasoning. So proportional reasoning, we're going to do a lot when it comes to fractions. So we're going to do a quick review of simplifying fractions. So we're going to simplify 18 over 27. And I know that these are both divisible by 3 because when you add the digits together, they equal a divisor of 3. So this leaves us with 6 over 9. And again, these are both divisible by 3 to give us a final term of 2/3. So when you plug that into your calculator and you check it every step, these should be about 0.6 repeating, 0.6 repeating, 0.6 repeating. And that's just a good check for you. And these are all equivalent fractions. That's the fun thing about this. So if you wanted to go tackle this right away, our workbook 1 has some examples for us. Our workbooks are just for practice, so I'm going to do these 3. Then I will write in the answers for these ones. You also have answer keys in the back of your book, but you should pause the video now and come back to this. So we're going to divide by 4 here and 4 here to give us 1/4. We're going to divide by 3 here and 3 here. And this gives us 5/7. We're going to divide by 10 here. And we're going to divide by 10 here. And this gives us 2/5. So you should be doing these ones. And I'm going to go ahead and do those now. Pause the video. Okay, so you can see here I have the answers available for you. If you need a little bit more guidance, please let me know. But like I said, just go nice and slow as you go through these, and they'll help you through. Example 2 is we are dealing with the true bit of proportional reasoning. We just need to go back a little bit for simplifying. So when I solve for x here, because of this equal sign, we're going to do this x slide. So this becomes x multiplied by 24 is equal to 5 multiplied by 16. 16 multiplied by 5 is 80. So this is 24x is equal to 80, and we divide by 24. So x is equal to 10/3. And that is an important thing to know because you need to leave your answer in a fraction form rather than a decimal. So make sure to note. Answer should be in fraction form. This leads us to workbook number 2. We're going to solve for x. I'm going to do one more example here with you guys. It's going to be a slightly different way, and it's going to be just recognizing how these are related. So if I have 10 and I need to get to 50, I know if I multiply by 5, I'll get here. So conversely, to go backwards, I need to divide by 5. So that gives me that x is equal to 8. Now, it doesn't work every time. The other way works a little bit, works always. So you're going to pause the video and you're going to try the other 3, and the answers will be up on the screen when you get back. So I made sure to have a few different ways to do it. For B, I did the proportional reasoning way. For C, I did equivalent fractions. And for D, I did equivalent fractions as well. Now we're going to work with ratio and proportion. I would recommend writing down your definition here of ratio in your notes. So a ratio essentially just tells us how many parts to another part. So a really good way to think of this is like if I needed 2 parts baking soda to 1 part sugar to make a recipe. And we can see in our example here we have a carpenter using epoxy and a hardener. And we can kind of walk through this and we can talk about these different ways to write the ratio. So we can have 150/15 or 150, 215, they mean the same thing, and they still need to be reduced. If I'm reducing in this side, we can see over here we just divide by the bottom number. So it's 10 to 1. And in here you would do the same thing. Okay? And then we are going to deal with proportions, like I said before. Write down your definition. So we know that these are equal, so we get to write it out like this. We have an example here. Charles works as a cook in a restaurant. His chicken soup recipe contains this. So what is the ratio of vegetables to chicken? Well, we have 5 cups of veggies to 3 cups of chicken. What is the ratio of broth to vegetables? 11 to 5. Chicken to rice is 3 to 3, but this can be simplified of 1 to 1. And the ratio of chicken to the total ingredients of this recipe. So we have 3 chicken, and then the total amount of ingredients is 11, 16, 19, 22. And now we have our workbook. We're going to head over to that. So we have number 3, a silk screening project. You guys are going to work on that one. 4 and 5 for practice. 6 and 7 and 8 for practice. Example 4, this is a new one for us, so we'll do this one together. Tom and Susan make $180 from holding a garage sale because Tom contributed fewer items to sale. The money is to be divided between Tom and Susan, the ratio of 1 to 2. How much will be each person receive? So 1 to 2. So this says between Tom and Susan. So this side is Tom, this side is Susan. We need to figure out how much money they're going to make from this $180 each. So for every dollar Tom gets, Susan gets 2 of them. The other way that we can look at this is that we can say that for every $3, Tom gets 1. So we would write that like this. So 1 over 3, and Susan gets 2 for 3. And that's because when we add this ratio together, this really says that it's out of 3. So we have to get these to 180, so we're going to multiply this by 180 and this by 180. This is going to reduce. We know how to do this from our last unit. So this is 1 over 1 times 60, and this is 2 over 1 times 60, which gives us that Tom gets $60 and Susan gets 120. We have some more workbook questions available for you guys. 9, 10, 11. And then we're going to introduce our last skill here of working with rate. So rate should be familiar to us from what we've been doing with typing, our word per minutes, and rate, write down this definition, is a comparison between 2 numbers measured with different units. So we see this a lot in grocery stores, for gas, words per minute, when we're looking at stats for ourselves. So let's look at this one. The amount of fuel consumed by a vehicle when it is driven 100 kilometers is referred to the rate of fuel consumption. Write a rate statement that indicates that the car uses 6.3 liters of gas for every 100 kilometers driven. So we can write this as a proportion first. Whoops. Let's change this to 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers. This changes to also 6.3 liters over 100 kilometers, or as we see it usually in our cars, per 100K. So it should be written in any of these 3 forms. For your next set of questions here, these are all build your skill questions. We'll do another example here. If you earn $150 in 12 hours, how much will you earn if you work 40 hours? So this is using a rate and proportional reasoning. So, and units are very important here, so make sure to always include your units. 12 hours is equal to, I've worked 40 hours. I need to know how much money I'm going to make. So we are going to cross multiply like this. And this one's not going to move because we're going to end up dividing by him anyway. The only unit that stays here is this because the hours and hours cross out. So this leaves us with $500 is equal to X. So I will earn, oh, come on, $500 and 40 hours. So now we are on to a section with some build your new skills, and then it should take you to your practice new skills. So make sure to do all of those 1 to 9. Page 22, sorry, 21. To page 25. This is part of the workbook check. Then in 2 days from time, we will have a concept check, so make sure to keep up. And if you have any questions, let me know.